Hi everyone, thanks for joining us today for our first episode of Dashboard Fridays. I'm Adam from SquaredUp. In each episode I'm going to be joined by a member of our community who has shared a dashboard with us. They're going to talk you through their dashboard, they're going to talk about why they built it, what challenge they were trying to solve, cover any gotchas, any little tips and tricks that you need to know. In today's episode I'm joined by Shawn Williams. Oh, that way. Hi Shawn.
Hello.
Thank you very much for joining us. Today we're going to talk about your VMware dashboard. The dashboard is available. It'll be up soon as a dashboard pack, but for now you can get it from our GitHub samples repository. Shawn, I'll just bring up the dashboard here. How about you tell us a little bit about the problem that you were trying to solve when you built this dashboard?
Sure. Can you see my screen now, I'm assuming?
Yeah, we're good.
Perfect. Cool. Well, so when we started working with Dashboard Server Community Edition, my challenge was to kind of come up with something that was interesting to just the broad community that showed the simplicity of the tool. And so what we did here was just connect it to our vCenter environment. And I wanted to target those things that we thought were interesting for a virtualization administrator, just like right out of the gate. So you can see the dashboard on the screen. So we wanted to just see, the hosts, power status, build versions, things that a virtualization administrator would want to see really quick. Something that was interesting, but easy to use.
Nice.
That was gist of it.
So building this with Community Edition, it's going to all be PowerShell, Web API. How's the dashboard put together?
Right, and this good point. I started with the Web APIs, but they didn't give me the ability to do as much as that I wanted. So I switched to VMware's PowerCLI. Plugged it into the module, and basically there's simple commands to just get really rich data out, and then I formatted it in a way that made sense. So like for the system status, I wanted the status blocks to show power status really big, really bright right out of the gate, and then like the count of VMs here by assigned memory. I wanted to just look to see what was assigned to what, because as a virtualization administrator, sometimes our users would assign a lot of memory to a VM and not tell you, and then you come in and you're like, why is this host under provision? Why this helps with that. And since I used PowerShell and the commands were so simple, it was just maybe 5 minutes to get this to go together.
Nice. We've tried definitely in my past of building API-based dashboards for VMware, but we've always had that limitation in Dashboard Server of token authentication and that kind of stuff. Right? It's just not quite flexible enough. But with PowerShell, I guess you can get around that nice and easy.
And if I wanted to take that to merge it with other data or show other things, since it's already PowerShell, I could just do it.
Yeah, cool. You already mentioned using VMware PowerCLI, another beauty, right? You can call any PowerShell module. You can do pretty much anything you want in a script.
Yep. Actually, that's a good point. Do you mind if I show you how I did one?
Yeah, please. Yeah.
Because you'll see that just the simplicity when I go to edit the dashboard, and just like the status of those hosts. The script itself is literally just, let me zoom in on this for you, is literally just get VM host. And then I do a quick select object and I store it in this variable. And then at that point, it's just format the data that comes out so that it fits into SquaredUp's status block. That was literally all it was. And let me pick another one. We'll do count of VMs over here. This one was even simpler. It was just give me the VMs and then group them. Boom.
Nice.
That's how simple it was.
In that first one, getting the data right is super easy, just the get VM host stuff. The rest of it was literally just to turn the words powered on and powered off into healthy. Yes. And yeah.
Yes, because in my experience, when you're working with users or you're working with management, the system returns what's relevant to the system, but then when you're communicating with someone else and they're like, what do you mean by that? Well, I didn't have to worry about it. I just formatted it so everybody understood. Everybody's up and running, and I didn't have to worry about it. And that's the beauty of this. So
nice.
Like powered on, put a space between powered and on, little things.
Yep. I guess as well, it's good to see we only have 5 open snapshots. That's obviously always a big problem in VMware environments. So I guess members of the community, right, they could just take that tile, create a whole dashboard just about snapshots if that was a particular problem they were trying to use.
That's an excellent point. So this particular dashboard is a whole bunch of things that really should be broken out into several dashboards. But since our environment wasn't big, this just showed the power of it. So we can take all the host information to another dashboard. We can take snapshots to another dashboard. We can group them by apps. A call out to the dashboard server SCOM edition, where you can link it with all your SCOM data and show even more rich data. You can do some seriously cool things with it.
Nice. Could you just show us a little bit more about that host stats tile? That's obviously getting performance metrics out of the host is pretty cool. That line graph, sort of bottom right.
Oh, sorry, yes. That one was pretty neat. This one was neat for me because all that data is already in VMware. And so again, just two statements. The first one was get stat, and then I'm passing in a particular, I'll show you where that variable is set. And then I pass in this start and finish variables, which I'll talk about in just a sec. And then I merge the two together and then just throw it out to the graph. And that gives me that. So let me step back for a second. So the start and finish. Since SquaredUp has page time frame, I can actually let the user choose what they want to see. And so I'm going to toggle over to what our profile, and I'm going to zoom in on this. And so here is where I set up the connection. And
so just for people who are new to this, the profile is basically a script block that gets executed before and with every tile, right? So anything that you want to reuse, anything like credentials or things that you're always going to use over and over and over, you can stick them in a profile. Every tile can call that profile, saves you a bunch of scripting, saves you putting credentials in your dashboards, that kind of stuff, right?
Yep, which is why each tile was so simple with just that one command, because as I scroll by real fast, each time a tile is executed, we would do the connection, connect to vCenter. Here we pass in the page time frame. So when the user clicks, I can then tell it to change the start and end date, and then that graph will change. And then here's where I set some of those variables. So I can control those tiles all through this profile and then pass in whatever I need. So I don't actually have to edit the tiles on that dashboard once it's built. Just come to the profile, change it, and everywhere that variable is used just gets updated. So in this case, I was looking at syscom MSO2, or the other one, I forget which one, and then it passes in. So let me show you that in action. Zooming out a little bit, and then coming over here and changing our time frame to 24 hours.
So it is going to have a go at like re-rendering every tile, but it's, in this case, those time frame ones, those line graph ones, sorry, in the bottom right, they are set up already in the script to take in that start and end time using SquaredUp's page time frame.
Yep.
Yeah, that's really neat.
Yeah,
a lot of data to come back.
Yes, but the really nice part here is, again, when I was a virtualization administrator in my old shop, you would be working with an application administrator, and they would be like, I want to know what my VMs are doing, and I want to know the host that it's on, and I want to see these things, and I want to be able to drill in. And we would tell them, well, we would have to train you with vCenter, and then we'd have to give you access, and then there's the install. And we don't have to deal with any of that. Give them the dashboard, let them go to town on it. Everybody wins, and they're not in my, they keep their chocolate out of my peanut butter.
It's a nice way of putting it. I guess as well, you could have like pretty granular dashboards, right? You could have different profiles that limit which hosts are being connected to, or if you've got multiple vCenters, you can have all that specified out and keep it sort of all different. And I guess as well, this would be kind of easily transferable into Dashboard Server SCOM Edition or into Azure Edition, because it's all just using the PowerShell tiles.
Yes. And if you common names, you can give that appearance of interconnectivity, and then you can pull in data from other places, merge it together. If you have CSV data that you want to attach to some of these things to make them more relevant to your users, go. I mean, it really is that simple.
Nice. If you already have So if you are using the SCOM edition, right, you could put this on a perspective and pass in parameters into your script and make perspectives for VMware hosts or
even yep.
Cool. That's really nice. Is there anything sort of squared up server side people should be aware of? So obviously PowerCLI needs to be available.
Yeah, so setting this up, the hardest part, amusingly enough, was just getting the PowerCLI. Like, where's the module? Because VMware has changed over time. It used to be something you installed. Now you just go to the PowerShell galleries and then making sure you have the right version, install it on the server where SquaredUp is installed. Once that was done, it was SquaredUp. The SquaredUp install was click, click, done. Put in a profile, put in a password, username, done. The dashboard itself was probably the easiest part of the whole thing.
Nice. I saw in the profile that you are calling in a custom module that you've called SquaredUp, I think. Is that in there still, or?
It was in there, and that was where we were. I changed it so that we just put the username password right here just to show that. But generally, I use a custom module to obfuscate where the username and password is, and then just call that module. For the purposes of the demo, I just remove that.
Perfect. Nice. So I mean, you mentioned, obviously, for everyone watching, you can tell by our glowing relationship here on screen that Shawn and I work together very closely and have for a few years now. But Shawn previously was at a customer of SquaredUp's, and this would have solved a challenge there, right? This isn't just a showpiece for a dashboard server.
Right. Absolutely true. When I was at the university, I had written a number of PowerShell scripts to basically go out, collect, and store, and then put it in a database. And then I used SquaredUp and the SQL tile to pull that data back out and still present these views. But now with Community Edition dashboard server, I can take that data, just put it on the dashboard and skip all those other steps. I don't have to do all that other work. I don't have to have that data warehouse. I don't have to have the scripts and maintain all of that automation. It's just done.
Perfect. So, and obviously then you could share this dashboard and open access and give it to people.
So yes, if I need to share it with users that don't really need permission and just want to see what's going on, open access. Otherwise I can give them a named user license and let them interact with the data. There are different varying degrees of this. And if they know what they're doing and have the permissions from the Virtualization Administrator, they can create their own dashboard. So I can satisfy each tier of user pretty transparently.
Nice. And I saw as well, this is a great starting point. Like you said, you'd kind of want people to break this out into multiple dashboards with a bit more information on. It's pretty easy when there's 4 hosts, right? When there's 400, this maybe isn't the way you present it. But yeah, with having a sample dashboard, right, it becomes super easy for somebody to just, take your work, expand on it, change it, do whatever they want with it.
Yeah, because you made a valid point earlier with like snapshots. Snapshots in and of itself, when you have several thousand machines, you're going to have probably even more snapshots. And your users treat them as backups, and we know that they're not backups, but you gotta clean them up. So there's that. And users, when you give them permission to create VMs, how many vCPUs have they assigned? How much memory have they used? Did somebody just suddenly assign a crazy amount of something, and then it's impacting your entire framework? Do you want to see clusters? Do you want to see data centers? How do you want to look at the data? Do you want to look at storage? You can do all of that with this.
It'd be cool, actually, I think, probably to take that snapshot script and maybe use it as a status icons tile. So, make them red when they're over a certain age, so you can see those like aging snapshots really closely, that kind of stuff. That was always a problem, right?
Yeah, that is actually a really good idea, because I know at my old shop, we allowed snapshots to hang around 30 days. So on day 31, clean it up or get it out. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. So having a dashboard that just sort of highlights those, plus 30-day snapshots, nice and easy. Cool. Yep. Is there anything else you wanted to mention, or shall I wrap us up?
The dashboard speaks for itself. Again, it first, when you look at it, you're like, okay, why would I do all of this? But I just want to highlight, you're right. Separating this out is probably where it makes more sense. But this is just to show you how easy it is. Grab it, pull it apart, make 2 copies of it, delete what you want, rearrange it. This is where the beauty of this comes into play. So I'd be curious what people think or what they'd want to see and where we can go with this.
Yeah, perfect. Well, thank you very much. I'll go ahead and just wrap us up quickly.
Cool.
You can head over to squaredup.com/dashboard gallery now. You can see screenshot and the write up of the dashboard. There'll be a link to our GitHub samples repository there as well, where you can get the JSON for the dashboard. And probably by the time this video comes out, if you've got SquaredUp 5.3 or later, you'll be able to just import Shawn's dashboard as a dashboard pack right there, sort of ready to use. But yeah, otherwise, grab the scripts, make changes, do whatever you like with them. And if you do get stuck at any point, Community Answers is a great resource of ours. We've been running it for a few years. There's about 3,000 users on there now, sort of experts in SCOM, Azure, monitoring, PowerShell, everything and anything for those IT pros watching. So yeah, check out the dashboard gallery, check out Community Answers. I'll just say thank you very much to Shawn again for joining us.
Thanks for having
me. Hopefully we'll see you again at some point soon with another awesome dashboard. But yeah, thank you very much. This has been a fun first episode, so hopefully there'll be another one coming soon with another great member of our community. Thanks everyone. Speak to you later.